Welcome to Investing in You, Selah Financial's online video series. This video is about the information you need to get a good start towards becoming an investor and getting your family on good financial footing. My name is John Westerman, and I'm a financial advisor at Selah Financial Services. At Selah, we specialize in helping individuals with financial and retirement planning and the implementation of these plans. Our company name, Selah, means to pause and consider wisely. If you don't already know us, you're about to discover that we take making informed decisions that are in your best interest very seriously. I work alongside Sharon Duncan. Both Sharon and I have been selected as Dave Ramsey endorsed local providers for investing. This endorsement means we have a strong bias towards eliminating debt and paying attention to your entire financial picture. We don't just collect and invest money before moving on to the next opportunity. For more information regarding our company, please visit our website. We had asked a lot of questions about how to complete a debt snowball and build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. We have put together this presentation to give you the rest of the story. You know, those tidbits that really make a difference but aren't taught in most programs. The real information. We picked the content for this presentation based on questions that we are most frequently asked by people like you. And we've even added a few bonus lessons. So first, let's begin by discussing the baby emergency fund. Everybody needs to start with a baby emergency fund of $500 to $1,000. The purpose of this fund is to be there when life happens. Thus, there's some cash available to keep little problems from becoming bigger problems. Do you know somebody who's taken a payday loan to fix their squeaky brakes? The dreaded air conditioner that breaks in the summer and there's no money to get it fixed? How about the unexpected medical problems? Don't skip this important but simple step. This baby emergency fund can save your bacon if you find yourself in a tight spot. Why do sometimes you hear that you need $500 in your baby emergency fund and other times you hear $1,000? What's the difference, you might wonder? The difference is the size of your likely emergencies. If you're fresh out of school and just getting started with no spouse or kids, then $500 is a good baby emergency fund. If you have a spouse, a house, kids, or other larger concerns, go for the $1,000 baby emergency fund. When that's done, you're off to the debt snowball. There are several ideas on how to pay off debt. Some say pay highest interest debt first, while others say pay lowest balance debts first. There are about 8 different debt snowball ideas out there that we know about. At Selah, we recommend that lowest balance debts get paid first. Since we are math nerds at Selah, and I'm a former engineer on top of that, I admit it seems wrong to pay the lowest balance first. If I only consider the math, then paying the highest interest rate first is the correct answer. The problem is that we are people first, and our thoughts and emotions come into play when it comes to money. By paying our lowest balance debts off first, we get excited and encouraged about our upcoming journey. We have found that this method typically gets us through the debt snowball faster than the mathematical answer. Let's face it, if the math answer really mattered, we wouldn't have gotten into debt in the first place. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what the idea of a debt snowball really looks like. So let's consider an example. So here's the story. Sue is single and owes $12,000 on her car, $150 at Kohl's, $3,000 in student loans. Let's say that Sue has an extra $400 a month after she pays all of her bills, buys food, and everything else she has to take care of during the month. Yes, Sue could use this $400 at the iTunes store or hanging out with her friends, but she has decided to cut back on this type of spending and use it towards her debt snowball. So let's begin by relisting the debts, but this time let's go from smallest to largest balance. The balance is how much you have left in order to pay it off completely. So here we go. Kohl's. Sue owes $150 and they require a $10 monthly payment. Next is the student loan with a $3,000 balance and a $120 payment. Lastly is the car with a $12,000 balance and a $375 payment. So your list should look like this. Now, let's add 2 more columns. One for the extra money that we're going to put towards the debt and another for the total that we're going to pay this month. Also, we know the extra has to total $400 because that's how much extra money Sue has to use for her debt snowball. So let's see. For Kohl's, we're going to pay the $10 that we have to, plus an additional $140 because they add up to $150. And Kohl's, they'll be paid off. There, one debt gone, and we're just getting started. We still have $260 of the extra $400 left to use. Now, we go on to the student loan. We pay them their minimum $120 payment, plus an extra $260, so we're paying them a grand total of $380. Now, since we've used all of our extra funds, the car company, well, they get their $375 monthly payment and nothing extra. A month goes by, and all the expenses this month were paid for with cash in the debit card as planned. Now remember, we start our monthly debt snowball by listing our debts, smallest to largest. We only have 2 debts left because we paid off Kohl's last month. The bills tell us that Sue now owes $2,693 on the student loan. There's some interest added, which is why this number seems a little strange. The minimum payment is still $120. For the car, Sue owes $11,685, and they still want a payment of $375. Now, let's see what to do with the $400. Since we owe more than $400 on the student loan, we'll use it all there. So Sue is paying $520 on the student loan and $375 on the car this month. Another month goes by and we begin again. Remember, we list our debts smallest to largest. So now Sue owes $2,456 on the student loan and the minimum payment is still $120. For the car, now she owes $11,322 and still the $375 minimum payment. Now let's see what to do with the $400. Since we owe more than $400 on the student loan, we'll use it all there, just like we did last month. So we are paying $520 on the student loan this month and $375 on the car. Only 3 months into this and already the Kohl's debt is gone and the student loan and car are more than $1,000 lower than they were before we started the debt snowball. 2 months in and more than $2,000 ahead. Keeping this up, you'll find it takes about a year or so to get completely out of debt. Not bad at all. Find some extra cash to add to the $400 and you'll get there faster. Use the extra $400 on something else, it'll take you a little longer. In any case, you'll find that it's certainly faster and cheaper than paying minimum payments for years. Give it a try. See how it works for you. It certainly feels good to be done with the debt snowball. If you need help figuring out your snowball, please let us know. There are also a few debts that we don't include in the debt snowball, like debts that are so large it'll take you years to pay them off. For example, we don't include your house mortgage in the debt snowball. However, we do include mortgage on rental property in the snowball because you can pay off the debt quickly by selling the extra house. We mostly include student loans in the debt snowball, but if you have a larger than usual student loan, like a medical school loan, we may move it out of the debt snowball, depending on your situation. We look at this on a case-by-case basis. After the debt snowball is complete, it is on to the 3 to 6 month emergency fund. You might wonder whether you should save 3 months or 6 months. We recommend 3 months if you have 2 household incomes that are basically equal and coming from 2 different industries. This way, even if an industry starts to struggle, you're likely to still have about half your income for your family. If 2 people work and make the same amount but are in the same company, then go for 6 months. The same is true if you are in the same industry. Go for 6 months. If one person brings home all or most of the money, then your emergency fund should be 6 months as well. It may feel like a lot of money to have in savings when you're used to owing money or not having money in the bank. But as time goes on, you'll learn to love the sense of security that comes with having this money in the bank. We have some bonus lessons learned for you to consider. If you're stuck figuring out how to do your debt snowball, let us know. Don't let being stuck today get in the way of asking for a little help and moving forward. When you're working on your emergency fund and debt snowball, we recommend that you not contribute to your 401k if you can finish your snowball and emergency fund in 3 or less years. I know, this sounds a little crazy to some because you're leaving your match behind, but we see it work out very well over and over again. Let the irritation that comes from giving up the free money from the match motivate you to eat out less and find a few extra dollars to finish your debt snowball faster. The real truth is that you will develop new financial discipline during this process, and this discipline will propel you further ahead. It's similar to the importance good athletes place on taking days off between workouts. If you already have money in your 401k plan or some other retirement account like an old 401k from a previous employer, an IRA, or a 403b, you should still take care of these investments when you're in your debt snowball and building your emergency fund. We don't want you contributing just yet, but don't ignore what you've already started. If you have money in a non-retirement account, consider using it for your debt snowball. Also, sell things to get through the debt snowball faster. Dave Ramsey says to sell so many things that the kids think they're next. If you're not sure what to do about your accounts, let us know. We'll look at them and help you figure out what is in your best interest. Budgets do make a difference. A lot of people think you need to live on rice and beans if you have a budget. Well, that's just not true. Some people need to live on rice and beans because they don't make enough money or they have too much debt. Others make enough money so they can spend more on better food. Eating rice and beans has nothing to do with whether you live on a budget or not, only whether you have enough money to spend. So do a budget. A budget is a plan for how you're going to spend your money. If you don't have a plan, then you just spend more money in the moment. For example, most people with a budget know how much money they want to spend in restaurants this month before the month starts. They can spend extra if they want. They just start the month with a plan and change the plan when it's what they want to do. People that work without a budget eat in restaurants whenever they want to. And when the month is up, they are shocked at how much they have spent in restaurants instead of spending the money on something more important to them. A word of caution though, your budget won't be perfect in your first month. Don't get discouraged and stop because it typically takes about 6 months to work the kinks out of your budget. After that, you may find that doing a budget becomes second nature. We tell people all the time that not budgeting will lead you to spend more money you didn't intend to spend. Many people eat out impulsively. Next time you want to eat out impulsively and you don't have a budget for that, drive into the restaurant parking lot, throw your money out the car window, and go home and make a sandwich. Whoever finds the money will really appreciate it. Don't like the idea? Then start budgeting because a budget is a plan. There are a million ways to do a budget, and any way that works for you is a good way. Use envelopes, use a spreadsheet, use pencil and paper, or use a program like www.ynab.com or www.mint.com. Use whatever works for you and try different things until you find something that works. Don't miss out on such a valuable tool because you thought you had to live on rice and beans. We want you to do what successful people do so that you too can be successful. So where does a house fit into this picture? If you already have a house and the house payment, including taxes and insurance, is 25% or less of your take-home pay, then keep paying on the house. You can tell if you're below 25% by dividing your take-home pay by 4. For example, if your take-home pay is $4,000 per month, when you divide by 4, your house payment should be $1,000 a month or less. If it is above $1,000, you may have too much house payment and should consider other living arrangements. In order to buy a house, you should have a 20% down payment without using your emergency fund. You should have the debt snowball done and a fully funded emergency fund in place before considering buying a new house. We do occasionally make exceptions to this if something unusual is going on in your family situation, but this is rare. You can always give us a call and see what we think about your particular situation. I hope you found the ideas in this video helpful. Work on the ideas and see where you get. Just get started and adjust your ways until you become successful. This is a lifestyle. Wealth building takes time and work. Let us know if you need some help along the way. Although we can't do Q&A in a pre-recorded series, you are always welcome to call our office and ask any questions you may have. Thank you for your time, and please pause and consider wisely.